Hey everybody, my name is Phil Strazzulla. I'm the founder of Nilsby.com. Nilsby is a Q&A platform for families with special needs children. There are 10 million families in the United States with children under the age of 18 that have special needs. And actually my youngest brother has special needs. My mom was a special needs teacher before having children. And so I kind of grew up in this community. And basically I wanted to take my background in technology and mix it with something that had kind of a double bottom line. And so we launched a month ago. We had 700 people on the platform, and we continue to grow every single day with people posting content. The plan is to eventually monetize, leveraging the brand of a place where you come to find information to help your children, to provide educational content, webinars, things like that. We're less than $1 million in revenue, and our intention is actually to bootstrap the company.
How do you make money? And what are the actual story? I don't get what you do.
Sure. So right now the website, if anyone's been on Quora.com or StackOverflow.com, you can essentially go on and ask questions that are on your mind. And so my brother is 20 years old. My parents are fairly sophisticated. My dad's a physician. My mom used to be a special needs teacher. And literally every single month, even every week, there are questions about how to apply for Medicare, how to apply for Social Security, how to write a trust, what to do when your child has an outburst in public. And so if you rewind the clock 20 years, there's even more questions. And so having a platform where you can come on and find the answers to those questions is really powerful. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to leverage the user-generated website to drive a lot of free content or free traffic, and then upsell people onto things like webinars. So if you have a child that has Down syndrome, what do you do in the first 6 months? What are the resources that you can leverage? What are the things that you should be doing in order to provide your child with a good life?
What's not available on Google or YouTube or Siri?
Siri?
Well, Siri's in the early days, just limited to Google and YouTube.
There aren't.
You solve, they don't solve.
Right. Yeah, it's a great question. There aren't many forums where you can actually go on and ask questions. There are a couple of Facebook groups, but you can't be anonymous. And so a lot of times you might have a gripe with your town. You might be in a lawsuit with your town. You don't want to be posting questions as Phil Strazzulla. In terms of Google, there's content on the internet, but it's not easy to find. It's not easy to query, and there's no emotional support through Google.
Has the product launched already?
Yeah, 1 month.
And so how do you overcome the cold start problem?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we started with 10 beta users. It grew to 100 before we launched. We had a base of content. And so just like any user-generated website, we're getting a little bit of SEO right now. I have a friend who works on the Google search team, and so we've optimized around that. That'll be the long-term driver. But right now it's a lot of word of mouth, newsletters, posting interesting content, a lot of how you'd actually build a following on Twitter.
Have you primed the pump with answers already, though? Or
Of course. Yeah, that was the point of the beta stage. So we had 10 families, grew to 100, and they were asking and answering questions for 2 months before actually launching.
So maybe ask it this way: what percentage are you through to critical mass when there's liquidity of questions and answers, where most of the questions are answered? And
so the experts on this are the guys that run Stack Overflow. They say that you need 1,500 users. You need about 90% of questions to be answered. You need about 300 questions. We're at 700 users. 80% of questions have been answered within the first month, which is pretty impressive. Not to toot my own horn, and we have about 50 questions. So we're maybe 2 months away from having the critical mass to have a self-sustaining community, which will continuously grow.
Have you thought about layering a directory on top of it that might be the paid component for the website? Yeah.
So actually this summer we're going to build an SEO-friendly listing of the tens of thousands of businesses that focus on special needs. Most families spend out of pocket every year, about 91%. They spend on average of $800 out of pocket. Each of them controls another $10,000 to $30,000 in expenses that are paid for by the government through the DOE or through healthcare. And so there are tons of industry groups for lawyers and accountants, doctors that focus on this industry group. And so we're going to build, kind of similar to Manta or Yelp, a website where we're going to have lots and lots of business listings, which is going to drive traffic through SEO, and then we're also going to allow business owners to actually claim their profile and pay for things like sponsored listings.